This is Infection, the survival podcast recorded live on Tuesday, November 5th, 2019, episode 251. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Of course, visit our website, infectionpodcast.com. Joining me as he does each and every week, little tardy from the great state of Idaho, Brian with an I, Aldridge. Hello, Mr. Brian. How are you?
I'm doing well. So if you want to find me, you can look at Boise Computer on Twitter. Of course, my blog, biteoftech.com, and best place to go, just go to our website, infectionpodcast.com. And if you look on the right-hand side there, we have a link to our Discord server. That's a great place that you can submit news throughout the week. We always cover that channel every time I'm making the show notes. We have our Steam group. It gives you a nice little notification before the live show starts. And we have Mixer, Twitch, and YouTube links on there as well, however you'd like to watch, either during the live broadcast or after the fact. Also, we have our audio links. So whether you want to listen to us on Spotify, TuneIn, you have an iPhone, an Android, doesn't matter. We have links for all those things. And then show notes now for 251 episodes of the show. So anything that we talk about, maybe you're listening and you want to see a video that we refer to, that'll be in the show notes. You're more welcome to go and check that out while you listen or after. We have a link on the left that says support us. And that if you want to go and making Amazon purchases, hey, Christmas is coming, you can go on there and click our link first and then do your normal Amazon shopping, and it'll give us a little bit of cut of that. Same thing with the Humble Bundle. Click the link before you go, and if you're going to do a subscription or an individual order, just make sure you click that link first. And also Amazon Prime, that's the way that we mostly fund the PAX trip each year, is if you just go to our Twitch channel and hit subscribe, it gives us a little cut of that, and you don't have to pay anything extra if you have Prime. It gives you a free one every month.
Yes, and we've got a couple people to thank for that, including our friend Saul Greatman, who just hit us up with the 21-month subscription, saying that's a fancy intro. Yes, it is very fancy. And I also do want to thank our friend UGX Vibe, who, as I appreciated him coming to me and saying, hey, man, I resubscribed. You didn't shout me out on the show. I don't see it anywhere. So, but I believe him. He's a good guy. So I want to thank him for hitting us up with the resubscription as well. And if your name is missing off this list and you have hit us with a resubscription, send us a Discord or an email or a note or whatever. We obviously want to give you credit for that, but Streamlabs system and Twitch's sucks. So it's hard to keep track of all that stuff. But we do appreciate everybody that supports the program and has done so now for boy, this January is going to be 5 years, isn't it?
Ugh, we're getting old. I don't know.
Well, I mean, 52 weeks in a year. We're on episode 250. I mean, this will be the January, whenever H1Z1 came out.
January, February-ish.
Yeah, like late January, early February is going to be 5 years of Infection podcast. Wow.
Wow. Is that a retirement show? We're just going to be, I just feel like I'm getting old.
I mean, you are.
Anyone who's been doing a podcast for 5 years, they just either have no life or, well, they have no life, I think is pretty much.
Yeah, it does have anything to do with the length for doing a podcast. You do a podcast, you have no life. It's one and the same.
I'm special.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so that'll be coming up here. Hey, so played some Call of Duty over the weekend. Everything's still going pretty good with that. But I do want to say our game of the week this week is going to be Dead by Daylight. You know, Brian, we were having this talk before the show. It's getting harder and harder to do game of the week. You know, we got like a game like 7 Days to Die that we played. Like we had a huge turnout, and before that, and now after that, it's just total famine.
Yeah.
And I don't think people are playing as many games as they were.
Well, or they're playing just their own little game that they want to play.
Yeah.
And they're just doing it outside just whatever times.
So
I mean, I don't know. It's just people aren't getting together and playing games as much.
Yeah, and I will say this: if you are a if you know somebody or you are a person that wants to host a game of the week and wants to you know, if you're going to say, hey, you know, I want us to play X game, let me host it. Just let us know. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you host that for us and kind of lead us through that. So,
Yep.
that is all. So, game of the week, Dead by Daylight. That'll be coming up at 8 p.m. Eastern on Friday. Hopefully, you will join us for that. I also want to thank our buddy Firebomb who just hit us with "I'm back. I'll be there for Dead by Daylight game of the week." So there we go. PH is going to host Roblox. That'll be cool coming up in a couple weeks. Very exciting for that.
Yep.
So, and it's funny because Judd said everything is still boring. Had Neophyte saying I'm just not playing as much as I used to. I'm kind of in the same boat. I know you are, Brian. It's just like,
I just don't have time. Like I get home and it's like, okay, I could play a game or I can go to the gym. And I go to the gym.
That just makes you a fucking nerd. But I mean, a total Chad.
Yeah.
But you know, that's not here nor there. So yeah, that's what's coming up. Game of the week, Friday night. So played a little more COD. Brian, I got some intelligence. I heard you played some COD last night with one of our friends and had a good time with that. So any changes from last week for you from playing?
It seems like they've last time when we played, my ping was horrible.
Okay.
I had 100 and something ping, and it was just very, very frustrating. Last night when I played, I had ping of like in the 50s.
Nice.
And so it's much better. It's just weird how sometimes it's so bad, and I could definitely tell a difference. Like I was doing all right, you know. I don't excel at Call of Duty, but I was doing, you know, from mid range on the scoreboard to upper, you know, 3/4 of the way up usually. So but it was fun. I'm starting to get like, okay, this game mode I don't enjoy so much. This other game mode I like, and I'm getting to where my aim is, because it's not a controller.
Oh yeah.
I have a lot easier time with a mouse and keyboard, and so I'm getting to the point where I'm able to lock in on people and not dying as much as I used to on World War II that we played.
Yeah.
Everything, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Everything's been pretty smooth. Playing it on the computer is good. Yeah, no complaints. Still playing it. That's pretty much last night was the first night I didn't play since I've played like at least a game or two every night. Last night was the first night I was like, yeah, just not feeling it tonight.
And last night was the first night that I came home and I felt like I actually had some extra time.
Yeah.
And I just sat and was like, I'm gonna play a game. And that's the first time I felt like it all week. So that's good.
Yeah, I didn't have that. I had the polar opposite of that last night. I just had zero interest whatsoever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. That's Call of Duty. Let's take a look here. We got a whole bunch of news. So BlizzCon was this week, weekend, and of course there was a lot of drama with that, and you've got a short video here, which is their quick sort of apology on everything.
So isn't this, I think, the president? This is the president of Blizzard.
The president
that speaks. The president. The president of Blizzard here, and he goes on for a little while.
Yeah, we'll play
just a point where we can cut this out.
Yeah, we'll just play a little bit of this.
I'll say a few words. You know, Blizzard had the opportunity to bring the world together in a tough Hearthstone esports moment about a month ago, and we did not. We moved too quickly in our decision making, and then, to make matters worse, we were too slow to talk with all of you. When I think about what I'm most unhappy about, there's really two things. The first one is we didn't live up to the high standards that we really set for ourselves. And the second is we failed in our purpose. And for that, I am sorry, and I accept accountability. So what exactly?
All right, you think that's a good starting point, or you want to, or should we continue listening?
I mean, we can. We don't need to keep playing it. Pretty much, he goes through and just keeps explaining that. Well, it's more of the same. He doesn't really say we're 100% wrong on this. He says we just responded wrong, and I thought it was odd. He said, and we didn't get back to you in time. We didn't tell you in time or respond in time to you, to the audience.
Yeah. You know what I found interesting?
But they kept the decision. That's the odd thing.
Yeah. What I found really interesting was that multiple times throughout this, he mentioned that they will not be making any more political statements, and they don't want to be doing political things. Yet, in the same vein, he is wearing a pin on his lapel that is very political in its nature and very controversial in its nature. And I think for me, that just added to the whole saga and story here that, as we've said in the past, none of these companies really give a shit. It's all about money. They'll say whatever they want to say. And this was just a spitting example of that. You've got a guy saying, we're not going to be political up on stage, yet he's wearing a pin that is, to the definition, a very political thing that is going on right now, and something that is just a hot button political issue. So it was just kind of odd to watch. And I don't know who in their right mind thought that was a good idea. I can't imagine anybody at Blizzard was like, hey, go out on stage wearing a pin, supporting a movement, and say you're not going to be political. I found that to be, frankly, retarded. It made absolutely no sense. And it totally, in my opinion, I watched his whole thing here. It nullified the entire thing, because specifically because of that.
Well, and I think it's a mindset, though. I think the issue is there are things to them that it is not a controversy. They view that you are wrong, they are right. It's not even a question. Therefore, it's not political, because you are wrong, they are right. That's the end of it. And so that is where I think you're looking at it saying, well, but there are people that have a different point of view on the thing you're talking about. Well, to them, no, those people are wrong. They are right. Therefore, it's not a political issue. It's anything that could be questionable. You could take a look at the issue in the Middle East with Israel and
Palestine.
In Palestine, that whole issue. There are people who very easily could be on one side or the other. But you'll find that politically, people will line themselves up on Palestine and say, oh, well, this is the right way. And so everyone else who believes anything else is wrong, and it's not even a debate. They don't view it as a debate. The problem is they just view the other person as wrong, them as right, and they dig their heels in on it. And I think that there's a lot of issues like that where they have gotten consensus, especially certain political views. You got to look at where these companies are based out of. They are in a bubble of people that believe exactly the way they do. And sometimes it gets very difficult to look outside of that bubble and realize, most people outside of your little bubble actually don't agree with you on certain things. But they don't view it because everyone around them agrees and views it something in one way. So I think that's where a lot of this comes from, to where they don't even think twice about things.
Yeah. So I mean, the event went off without a hitch. You know, everybody's like, "Oh, there's gonna be mass protests." I mean, I saw some people stand outside.
People that are paying money to go there are not going to protest.
So, I mean, the event itself was all right. There's some announcements we'll talk about here, but yeah, with that, to me, it just seemed as expected. It was. I mean, they seemed half-hearted, and again, at this point, the damage is done. Like, it's over with. And this just kind of, obviously they had to talk about it, but it just, for me, it was just like, this is stupid. I'm so sick of hearing about this. So that was kind of the update there on the Blizzard Hong Kong Hearthstone situation. And I hope, Brian, and pray that we are finally, we do no longer have to hear about this. And I hope BlizzCon happened. It's over. Let's get on with our lives. So that's what
these companies just need to step out of it. I mean, I understand that individuals, and this is one thing where a lot of companies just say, politics has no place in the workplace, which I agree with, unless you are in a workplace where it's political by nature.
Yeah, I mean, I worked at a talk radio station that was a very political
where they, by definition, have kind of a certain political side that they're representing. And that's understandable, but they're like, with the company that I work at now, there's no point in me bringing up my politics there. I'm there for a job. I don't want to hear about everyone else's politics. I don't want to see whatever pins and buttons and things on their desks. I don't feel like seeing that, and I'm not going to do that to them. I'm going to treat others how I expect to be treated. But when I was a computer consultant, I would go to places where they would have, buttons and pins and political things all over their desks. And that really creates a situation where, especially when it's one of the owners of the company that has all these things on their desk, but then an employee does not have they would feel threatened to ever bring up their political view because it's such a contentious thing. It brings up anger in people. If you say your opinion that differs from them, it's amazing how many people actually get angry. So I think that a lot of people don't realize, especially when you're in a position of power, and then you go in and start saying, here's my political view, here's what I view as right. It is a risk to go in there and say, you know what, I disagree with you. People can't leave it at opinion.
Yeah. So
they just need to leave it alone.
No, absolutely. And yeah, that is that. So hopefully that's all over. All the dust is settled on that, I hope, and we can move on. Now, That was the controversial side of BlizzCon. There was also an announcement at BlizzCon. Something that I think, let's see, I can't seem to find it in our list now. Diablo, yes, there it is. They announced a new, they're announcing a new Diablo 4. Now, there is a video. We're not going to show it because it's 9.5 minutes long. It's a cinematic.
It's pretty much a little, mini movie.
It's like a movie. It's super cool. But Diablo 4 is coming out. And what are your? You ever played Diablo, Brian?
Yes. So this one thing that they have kind of done with, like, for instance, the last Diablo, it wasn't as dark as the original ones. As far as it became a little more arcadey, I think, and the story wasn't quite there. And this one, they said that they are going to make it dark compared to probably the last one. So I think that a lot of people will probably enjoy the feeling of this a little bit more. So the one thing that's always amazed me when the original Diablo came out, just the graphics for the type of systems. It's hard maybe for someone like you who's younger to truly appreciate it. But when the original Diablo came out, the graphics in comparison to anything else that was out were just amazing. The music was awesome. The graphics were awesome. And so it was one of those games that you just played because it was so cool looking. And then people really enjoyed it as well. I played a lot of the last Diablo, but it's kind of like a grind. I didn't care so much for the story. And I think this one, they're going to try to get the story a little bit more in there.
That's cool. I know a lot of people that are big Diablo fans. Me being the age I am, Diablo, I know it was.
It's just something that was kind of it. Yeah.
When did Diablo 1 and 2 come out? I mean,
I thought it was in the late 90s. Let me see.
I mean, and I remember when Diablo 3 came out, and that was in 2012. But one and two.
The original Diablo had to have come out in the late 90s.
Diablo 1 came out in 96, and Diablo 2 came out in 2000. So it was just
and you got to think in 1996, what the way that computer games looked, Diablo looked amazing.
You want to know how old I was in 1996?
I don't even.
I wasn't born.
No clue. Oh, I was in high school.
Well, it was non-existent. So that's
I had my own computer. I ran a little BBS about the time you were born.
Well, old man Aldridge, the myth, the myth proves itself once again. So my point is, Diablo 1, 2, by the year 2000, Diablo 3 came out in 2012. I didn't play the other two, and then now we've got this other one coming out. I don't think they announced a date. No idea when the release date is, but I do like that. Brian BBS Aldridge. I'm going to add that to the list for next week. So that is that's cool. I know a lot of people looking forward to it, and I'm game for anything. I'm interested in trying whatever. So
yeah, I think this will be an interesting one, and the cinematic they made
is awesome.
Really did a good job of just kind of telling. Immediately, you feel like you have an idea of the story going in.
I mean, look at this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's
super well done.
Yep.
And it's a live act? It's animation. It's not live action.
Yeah, it's all animated.
But it's a very good it's mocapped though. It's not like weird rigged animations. It looks like it's a mocap. So yeah, that is a thing that is out. It's a 9-minute cinematic for Diablo 4, and hopefully that'll be out here in a couple years. Looks like we did just lose Brian, so we'll move on. We'll move on from that. Hopefully we can get him back here in just a minute. So that was BlizzCon. They'll do another one again next year, and hopefully between now and then, there's not a whole lot of Blizzard in the news, because I think, like a lot of other people, myself, I just am not super interested in anything that Blizzard has to say. If they want to make a game, fine, but I'm just kind of over everything else. So that's BlizzCon. That's Diablo 4. Now let's move on to a game, and I've got to give a huge shout out to the folks over at the Scavengers game. They did a playtest this weekend, and me being the dummy that I am, did not sign up for this when I should have, so I didn't have a key for it. And fortunately, I was able to send them a tweet, and the guys over there at Midwinter Games, the people that are making Scavengers, sent me a copy of the game, so I was able to play it. Now, I can't show any gameplay. There was an NDA on it, so we couldn't record anything, couldn't take any pictures. All I can do is tell you what my experience was like playing it. So, Scavengers is a class-based, and by class, I don't mean like World of Warcraft or like Dungeons and Dragons class more like Apex Legends or Overwatch, class, a skill set. So it's a class-based PvP, PvE, round-based survival game. So you're fighting against a set of players. I believe there's 30 players per match. It's teams of 3, so there's 10 teams of 3. And then there are sets of NPCs that are in the world. That's where the PvE-ness of the game pops in. So you drop in on this world. It's a snow kind of biome, or excuse me, it's not a snow biome. There are parts that are snow, but it's kind of like a ruined world biome. You drop in, you're with your squad, and you drop with no loot. You have no weapons or anything. You have to do your typical, run around and loot, open up crates, find things on the ground. And as you find, pistols, and there's a couple assault rifles, and then there's a whole bunch of melee weapons, then you move on and start going towards these little points on the map, and they're indicated by, I believe they were little yellow triangles or squares or something like that. And from that, you move over to these points, and an announcer is talking during it and tells you that you need to collect something at those points and return it to some sort of hub. And I'm trying my best to explain this. I wasn't able to record anything, so that is that. So you go to these little POIs across the map, little craters, buildings that are destroyed, and you run through there. So you're with your team of 3, you're attacking NPCs, you're getting attacked by other groups, and you are trying to survive. Now, outside of PvE and PvP, there's a food system you have to eat, there's a water system you have to stay hydrated, and there's also a incredibly brutal environmental system. When you are in the cold, you die rapidly. If you are not staying near a fire or doing something to warm up, you will die or get knocked down very quickly. So with that, there's those 3 mechanics plus the PvE, PvP kind of thing that's in there. Now, there's also a storm system. Now, I found this to be very cool. It's like a snow tornado that moves. So unlike the typical zone that pushes in from the side, there is that, but then there's also these sporadic events that happen across the map, and they're smaller circles, and they move. It's a tornado, so it's moving across the thing. So as you may be running, it may be following right behind you, or it might be going another direction. So that was cool. I played maybe 4 or 5 games. The servers were kind of wonky, and so I didn't have the ability to play a whole bunch of games. And I didn't have it. None of the people I played with really talked, so that was kind of frustrating. And PH is correcting me in saying that the circle itself correctly doesn't change, but these tornadoes get bigger and bigger, and it gets colder because they're like snow tornadoes. So they kind of take over the thing. You're in like a blizzard if you're in the middle of these things. That is kind of the top-down view of it. The goal is to kill the NPCs, kill the other players, collect as many of these assets as possible, return them, and then you win. And at the end of the game, there's a dropship. You get in it, and if you win. So that's how that whole system goes down. It's kind of a battle royale, but it's got the PvE elements to it, and the very harsh environmental conditions that most battle royales don't have. I got a very strong Darwin Project vibe from it. The game was all right. I mean, I don't think the test itself was smooth. Once you got into a game, because so many people were trying to play. Once you got into a game, super smooth. Played well. Yeah. Frame rate seemed to run well. The weapons seemed to work. There was vehicles in the game. There was grenades. I mean, the game itself was polished, for what it was. I don't necessarily know if it's my kind of game. I'm not super keen on those 3-player kind of co-op games like that.
Games, yeah.
It's just not my style. But the game itself was solid. I had a really good time playing it.
Do you think it's going to take off though?
No, not in terms of crazy high player numbers. I think it's one of those games that will, because it's round based, it's not a story game. Right, it's not a campaign. Yeah. It's not. I saw a lot of people attributing it to The Division. It's story games, I think, have the tendency to draw people in. These round-based games have the tendency to have people play them every once in a while. And when you say, will it take off? Will it have a player base? Yes. Is it going to?
It's on console, so sometimes you'll just get a ton of players that you don't ever really even know about.
Is it going to explode and be a PUBG or Fortnite killer? No. Will it have probably a Realm Royale style player base, couple thousand active players? Yeah, I think so. And for them, that would be great, because a lot of these games that come out suck. Yeah, and they don't do anything. They come out, they have 200 people playing, and then they close. So does it have the ability to be, in terms of player count, an ROE or a Realm Royale, and have a 1,000, 15, 2,500, 3,000 players solid base of players? Absolutely. The mechanics seem solid. The developers are super cool. They were nice people. They hooked us up, which I really appreciate. And also, Brian, the game ran on Spatial OS, which is the first time
one that seems to.
I don't think I've ever played anything that ran on Spatial. Now, with it only being 30 players, I don't know exactly how the Spatial OS features in terms of large player counts works into that, but in terms of how the world loads and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, having it handle all the AI and the weather effects and everything else, I assume that's what they're doing. They're probably running multiple. They're probably having a Spatial OS instance that's handling the weather for multiple servers, handling the AI for multiple servers. So they're not just having it to where, this is meant to be, 1,500 people on one thing. They just have it probably doing AI is handled across all of them with one instance.
Yeah. So it was good. I had a good time playing it. I wish I could have played it with a couple of other people. Nobody else really had it. So if I was to play with 2 friends, my experience probably would have been a little bit different. But it was good. I enjoyed playing it. I think there's a lot of potential there. And I know we've talked about it a little bit in the past. We showed their trailer at E3 this year when they showed that. But that is Scavengers. They did 2 4-hour play tests. they got a lot of good feedback. I saw a lot of people talking about it. So I would say good work, guys. Keep it up. And again, thanks for hooking my stupid ass up last second for not registering for a key. So I really do appreciate it.
Very good.
All right. Brian, I want to play a little game with you. That came across wrong. Let's talk. We want to talk about Ark.
Play a game.
Do you want to play a game, Brian? All right. So we've got some Ark stuff. But before we do that, there's a survey. And we used to do this back in the H1Z1 days. They would put surveys out. We would take them on the show and submit them as one person. So Ark has got a survey. It's a Google Forms. The link will be in the show notes. Can we take this survey together? Does that work for you? All right. So here it is. It's an Ark Survival Evolved feedback. This is directly from their community manager. So we'll put in our email here, contact@infectionpodcast.com. When did you start playing Ark? So I guess I'm going to have to go look at what day I purchased Ark, because I don't think I played it a whole lot before.
I know I purchased it to start playing it for the podcast.
Yeah, so does Ark tell you, or does Steam tell you when you purchased a game? I don't know if it does. I guess I should have prepared some of this, but preparation. Who wouldn't bother with that? I don't know when Ark first came out. Release date August 29th, 2017. Okay, so let's say,
which is probably about right.
September of 2017.
Sure.
So let's go back. Let's see, September 2017. Let's say September.
Actually, 2015. I thought was. Are you thinking of when they came out of?
Yeah.
So 2015 was when we started playing.
Yeah. So maybe that date is wrong. Release date. Yeah.
I think the last time you played it was the 2017.
No, it says the release date is August 29th, 2017.
But look at your last play.
Yeah, well, yeah, I agree with that, but I'm just looking at this.
2015 was when it was released. We were playing it in 2015.
Okay, so when would you say in 2015, if you had to guess?
I think it was August of 2015.
Okay, so let's just say August 29th of 2015. What is the approximate number of hours you've played in Ark total? Well, I can look at mine, and I've played about 207 hours. How much Ark have you played?
646.
Oof. Okay, so we're gonna say between 250 and 500. That's in between us. Do you still play Ark? Yes, no, or I only play during new patches or DLC.
Only new patches or DLC.
Okay, let's go to the next page here. Let's see what else is on here. Answer: during new patches. When was the last time you played Ark? Now you have played it a lot more recently.
September 14th
of this year.
Yes.
Okay, so September 14th. What is the approximate number of hours you played per week during the new DLC? Under 10? Or between 11 and 25?
It would be under 10.
Okay. Let's see. What else we got here? This is exciting. Which platforms do you own and play Ark on? PC, Steam?
PC, Steam.
You don't own it on the PlayStation?
No.
If you own it on multiple platforms, okay, PC, Steam. Which Ark expansion pack do you own? None, Scorched Earth, Aberration, or Extinction?
I own all three.
Okay. Do you own any of the season passes? Season Pass 1 or Season Pass 2?
I have the Season Pass 1.
Okay. I guess I'm just filling this out as you now. Which official Ark did you like the most? I personally like the island. I thought that was a really cool map.
Yeah. I think my original experience. The other ones were okay, but they didn't pull me in. They didn't tell enough story. They didn't tell any story.
What do you like about Ark the most? Let's see. We got to come up with a good answer here.
I like playing with friends. That's pretty much what it comes down with me.
Playing with friends. Okay. Which Ark do you like the least? Now, this will be a question for you.
Probably, I think it was Aberration. I probably like the least.
Okay. Why do you like this official Ark the least?
I just don't think I like the map as much.
The map
just
sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. I didn't realize this was going to be quite so long. I wouldn't have done that. I thought this was going to be a quick survey. Which of the following have you played? We've done non-dedicated. Excuse me. We've done dedicated, modded non-dedicated, and regular non-dedicated. You've never played single player, have you?
And modded dedicated multiplayer.
Oh, you have played that. Okay. If you have selected more than one option, please tell us the option.
Well, like our server would be a modded dedicated multiplayer.
What about modded non-dedicated multiplayer?
That'd be if you're playing between other people.
Oh, okay. Then I guess we didn't do those. We're going to say 60-40. I'm just going to lie because we got to get through this. Oh, Christ almighty. This is just turning.
I would say about 75%.
Okay.
75%.
75-25. Please tell us the approximate ratio spent on PvP. Let's say we're going to go 80-20. What region are you from? North America. What was the official region? North America. Jesus Christ, Ark. Which category? Let's see. We're going to call you a ramshackle player.
Yeah.
Which type of player do you most identify as? Okay, Brian. Or do you think you're an achiever, where you like to complete all the challenges? You're an explorer. The game is the journey. The socializer.
I don't know. Either explorer or socializer.
I think you're the social. Actually, you are the explorer because you'll loot forever. So you're definitely the explorer.
Yeah.
PvP, actually, role play is what you enjoyed the most. So we're going to just say that.
Thanks.
Some general things. Jesus.
Oh my goodness! They want to
all right, okay, we're done. We're done. You know, here's the thing: they're giving away some gift cards with this, so I'd recommend you go and fill this out.
If you got 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, I thought it was going to be a quick little survey. This is what they're doing. They're doing their survey would take approximately 30. I should have read this. 30 minutes to 1 hour to complete. Yeah, this is what I do.
Oh boy, there's only like 10 more pages.
So you have the chance to win a Genesis, which we'll talk about in a minute, season pass on any platform of choice. A Steam gift card is for up to $100, or Amazon gift card up to $100. Please note, troll responses will be discarded from the giveaway. So, you know, doing a troll response is not a good solution there. But I'd recommend, like we used to do in the past for H1Z1, if you are an Ark person, you enjoy playing Ark, you like Ark, go and take the survey. They're looking for genuine feedback from their community. So if you are somebody that played a lot of Ark, I'd recommend you take that survey. I didn't realize it was going to be quite such a long thing. I don't think I would have. I don't think I would have.
Well, we gave them an idea of what to expect.
Yeah, we probably just turned a lot of people off from taking that survey. So go check that out. Just put the link in our chat room, and they're also. The link will be in our show notes, which is infectionpodcast.com. Now, that's not the only news from Ark. We showed a trailer a couple of months ago for Genesis, which was kind of out of the blue. They just were like, this was after Atlas was out, and they started doing more Ark work, and then all of a sudden there was just this new random trailer. It was Genesis, very sci-fi-y, lots of bright blue lights and things like that. So over the past couple of days, they have released a bunch of trailers for Genesis, which is going to be their next expansion. There was only supposed to be 3, and now they're doing Genesis, which is
going to be in 2 parts.
A 2-part thing. It's going to be its own season pass, so it's totally independent from, like, their season pass 1, which is Aberration, Extinction, and Scorched Earth. Then there's season pass 2, which is going to be Genesis 1, Genesis 2. And that's how those systems are going to break down. So they released a bunch of videos for some new things that they are that they're going to have in Genesis, and they were short videos. So I edited them all together, and there's little intros before all of them that describes what they are. So this is some teasers for the upcoming Ark Genesis. Now, Brian, I got to be honest with you. Watching this has got me hyped for Ark. That is some of the coolest shit I've seen in a long time from a video game. Now, I understand. We talked about this, 2 weeks ago? I understand trailers. Yeah. I get it. Totally understand. But what we just saw was just a kind of a collaboration of a bunch of the things that they released this week, including a bunch of new dinosaurs, some new, like, weird spider-looking octopus thing that climbs through trees.
Attached to your back and fly around with it.
I have no idea what that thing is. This kind of like guided missile thing that you control, kind of like the Fortnite missile that you can drive. There's just a lot of stuff. This Genesis is, for all intents and purposes, going to be a completely different game. Like, this is practically Ark 2, right? Is that a safe thing to say?
I don't know. It still feels a lot like Ark. I don't know what they would do with Ark 2, though.
But that's what I'm saying. Unlike Scorched Earth and Aberrations, those were more maps.
More like maps.
With dinosaurs and new kind of creatures. This seems
the last one had a lot of new stuff in it.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as they added a lot more dinosaur variations, where the second one was just more of variations on pre-existing. The last one seemed to have more new and unique creatures. Yeah. And it looks like this one, they're kind of doing the same thing. They're making some things that you haven't really seen yet.
Yeah, I really like those trailers. It really got me hyped for Genesis. I haven't bought any of the Ark DLC. I only own the base game, which is the island. But I'd think about this.
So speaking of the original, one thing that I think is a big difference that I think they got away from, and maybe people don't like so much, but one thing I liked about the island is it didn't have all these layers. In the expansions, they kept doing all these layers where it's hard to traverse because you get into this cave network, or you get to where it's hard to find someone. I think they got a little bit carried away, and we'll see what they do with this, or if they give you enough options to really travel around it. But these new ones, I didn't enjoy the maps. They just didn't feel the same as the original map. And I think it's because they try to put so much complexity into it. I think it took away a little bit from the game.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. So that's the teasers for Genesis, and we don't have a date on that. We have no idea when that's coming out, but it's something to look forward to, right?
Yeah, and I think we both no point in even knowing a date because they'll be late on it anyways. I don't think there's been a single expansion that actually hit on time, so I'm not really worried about whatever date.
Yeah,
JD says December, so January it is.
How about March?
Maybe.
So yeah, that looks cool. I look forward to that hopefully coming out.
And they did put out 2 smaller patches this past week. So October 29th, they fixed an exploit, and they fixed issues with spawning and overspawn in relation to that Fear Evolved event they did for
Which
Halloween.
is the Halloween event, yeah.
And then 300.6 they put out today, and this one was adding some Explorer notes for the Genesis Chronicles. So they added the HLN-A Explorer notes 6 through 10, and then they added corrupted avatar boots and pants for Genesis Chronicles. So they're trying to add, because these things are all going to be connected, I'm sure, where you kind of move things around like you've done with all these other ones. You can move items between the different worlds. So I think they're kind of bringing things into the base arc. So you'll start seeing various items that will be in Genesis showing up.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. So, and of course, we always know that when they're working on expansions and things, you just don't see, they don't put out a lot of base content or patches to the regular. Seem to be putting everything into the new one.
Yeah. So a lot to look forward to from the folks over at Arc, which is good. Solid game, lots of players still. Everything's going good with them.
Well, one of their products that aren't having solid numbers is Atlas. And
good foreshadow.
So previously it was 400.62. Their current patch is 401.5. And so they put out a bunch of fixes. I don't really see anything worth mentioning here. They're just tweaking settings and making it so that things work a little bit better, but no new real content. So I don't think we really need to go over each thing individually.
All right.
I mean, like, for instance, I'll just read one. Disabled claim flag height limit on PvE servers. I mean, that's stuff like that I'm sure nobody cares about.
Yeah, I guess so.
Anyways, that's Atlas.
Cool.
Hopefully they'll put out some content soon.
All right. Let's talk about you want to talk about some survival stuff or do some more general gaming stuff now?
Let's talk about a Discord thing really quick.
Okay.
Because there's been some current concern about Discord being abused to spread malware, and then people getting data out of it as well. And one thing, Judd, he had mentioned that he had used one of the proof of concepts and found it pretty easy to actually take over someone's account, or pretty much imitate their account inside of Discord. And I think this can be an issue. I mean, for instance, I run a Discord server, for my YouTube channel. We have our infection Discord. If certain accounts were not even necessarily taken over, but if they were able to mimic those accounts, there's a lot of stuff they could do. They could kick everybody. They could, mess with the channels. And this is where a lot of people and companies, gaming companies, developers, have made this they're kind of like their forum. It's the point of communication with the developers and with the company. And so I think that Discord has to take that pretty seriously and really focus on making sure that Discord is safe, because a lot of companies have gotten rid of their forums. They have gotten rid of other methods of chat. And it's solely in this. So I think that they're going to have to, first of all, there's only so much you can do to limit someone from sending someone else a file. If you
or a link, hey, click on this link.
I mean, this happened with Google Plus and Hangouts early on. There are a lot of people who figured out, well, you can get almost anybody to click a link. You say it's an image, or hey, check out this picture. And then it's harvesting IP addresses. So it'll get an IP address, and then you just DDoS somebody off and it kicks them out of the channel. That was a silly game they would do. But there's other things you can do where you can make a public link. They show here, for like calc.exe. It's an exe file. Well, you can share that. You have to be smart enough to know you don't just run an exe file from a random person on the internet. It's just like email. It's just like downloading something off of a website. How much of this is really Discord's issue versus you're just dealing with general, sometimes not highly knowledgeable populace on the internet?
Yeah, that's what I took away from reading this. Now, there were some legitimate claims of there were some things that Discord could do to tighten down the hatches a little bit. But as I read through this, a lot of things like, that you're allowing ransomware to be uploaded. I mean, Discord.
They want them
expecting
to.
AV
They
to be
want
doing
them to virus scan every single.
You want them running
upload.
semantic endpoint on your computer to scan through every file. I mean, a lot of this stuff is best practices. Don't click links from people you don't know. Don't click on random bit.ly links. That are just from random. I mean, we get them actually. I get them all the time. I'll get links from random people, and I'll look at what Discord I'm in with them. It's some random game, like a community I'm not involved in. Guess what I do? I don't click the link. Just ignore it.
And this is one thing they could do is just very clearly put a notice up there that says, because this happens all the time with a lot of services. This is a file from that could possibly be a virus. Open it at your own risk.
Yeah.
I mean,
a disclaimer.
You'll still have people that are, I didn't know, and they'll still click it.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever. That's life.
Yeah. I like Bleeping Computer where this was. I actually really like their news, but this article is bullshit. I mean, Discord,
there are some issues, but the things that they're pointing out,
like the headline,
silly.
Discord as a malware hosting and distribution service. You can make that argument about
because,
Google Drive. You can make that argument about any service that allows Google Drive will let you upload anything to it. Now it will say, hey, this file might have an issue, but you can host anything. You could host anything on Google Drive. So Google Drive is a malware hosting system. Mega.com is a malware hosting system. All of these services.
And their complaint is the fact that you upload something to Discord to send to somebody, and anyone can click that link and use it as a way to download a file.
Yeah, that might be an issue.
But that's the thing is the exact same thing as Google Drive and all these other things. Anywhere that you can upload a file and it lets you link to it, not just inside of the application.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that it's a malware distribution center. It that has nothing to do with that. That's like saying
mega upload.
Google Drive. Yeah, Google Drive is a malware distribution center. No, actually, it's a file hosting service where people could possibly upload something that would be dangerous to your computer,
as well as
just like
images and other things like our 251 weeks worth of show notes for a podcast. All of our show notes are on Google Drive. It's asinine, and I really do like Bleeping Computer. I'm very disappointed that they wrote this article in the way they did. And I'm no Discord shill, but this article, it's just stupid. It's just
sensationalism. I think they're trying to make it a bigger deal than it really is. I mean, you could write an article about how in general, any service that does this type of thing could be a risk or could be abused. But what are you going to say? Well, we don't want any kind of public file sharing sites, any way to actually distribute files outside of a closed service.
Yeah. So later down in the article here, it does say the good news is that Discord does perform some sort of file scanning or blocking for malicious files. When I tried uploading a sample of the Dark Comet Rat, I don't know what that is, with 65 detections on virustotal.com, Discord would not allow me to upload the file. So it sent a message back and said, hey, it looks like the file you've tried to upload might be a virus. Instead of cooking up trouble, try cooking up a dish, and it sent a link to a recipe for some spinach parmesan thing. Nice. So they are doing some stuff. Now there's some issues with their webhooks and some things with their API that hopefully they will work on. But I didn't appreciate this article. I thought it was very misleading and very biased.
Yeah. And I don't know what their whole point of, other than they want to get clicks, because they're picking a service that a lot of people use and trying to create an article that, gets, I need to be careful. I've used Discord, so I need to read this article, and it's going to get people going to their website so they can get ad revenue. That's pretty much what it comes down to. I
actually read a good article on Bleeping Computer today. Did you see the new version of Malwarebytes?
No.
Totally new UI. Looks totally different. Looks like spyware, but it is the same good old Malwarebytes. So Malwarebytes
looks like spyware.
It does, dude. It's like the how spyware's got like that. that I'll summon my inner Alex Jones, like we're so friendly. You know, the spyware's got like the we're so friendly UI. That's what Malwarebytes looks like now. Like the UI is way too user friendly and way too explanatory to be good software.
It doesn't look like a tool anymore.
Like ADW Cleaner looks like a fantastic piece. C Cleaner, fantastic. Terrible UI, terrible instructions, but if you know how to use
That's how you know it's good.
Exactly. This new Malwarebytes, too clean, too user friendly. That's a tip from Nick, the IT guy. Tune in every week for helpful tips.
How to
right
judge
here.
if software is safe? Does it look horrible?
Oh, I'm friendly. Leave me alone. So yeah, check it out. Malwarebytes 4.0. And by the way, believingcomputer.com is a good website. It really is. If you're interested in like exploits and things like that and malicious stuff, like this new what's it called? Windows Blue script or whatever it is, the new WannaCry encryption that's running rampant right now. Believing Computer's a good site for that. You want to do a tech podcast? You want to talk about technology the rest of the show? I could do that.
No, that's all right.
Okay, fine. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's fine. Okay.
We'll get to it later.
Yeah, interesting article
Blue
over
Keep
there.
is by the way.
Blue Keep, yes, that Windows Blue Keep. I bet you hadn't heard about Blue Keep yet.
I have. I'm the one who just told you about it. I corrected you on the name.
Yeah, but you just looked it up. No.
No.
Oh,
Blue Keep.
I knew about it before you.
Okay.
So hey, there's speaking of things that
I only write software now. I don't have to fix things.
Yeah, well, I only fix the shit that you're incorrectly making for the end user. So hey, there's an update here from our favorite shills. Excuse me, we're the favorite shills for them. Epic Games. This is their October feature update that they released at the end of October. So they've got the new storefront, which we've looked at a couple weeks ago. There's still not that many games on it, so the storefront's kind of lame because 95% of the games I just have no interest in. They've launched our checkout overlay with the partners over at Jaeger, which is a competitive quest in their competitive quest shooter, The Cycle. The new checkout overlays allows game to use our payment platform from within the game. So buying DLC, buying packs is what they're showing on this. Buying in-game currency can be purchased through Epic's payment processor system, so developers don't have to host that themselves. That's good. And they show some screenshots on how that works. They've optimized the storefront. 3D Secure is stuff that they're putting in for European users. Requirements for the strong customer authentication, the SCA system, and then they've added Thai support for languages. Now, in progress, things that they're working on is a wish list, an updated library grid view, critic reviews from Open Critic. Oh, that's freaking useful.
So what do you think, though, that compared to how Steam does it? It's just really, it's kind of
they're both terrible.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that I'm supposed to believe gaming blogs like Kotaku, who the publishers that are fighting back again. The publishers are calling out their bosses on social media. The fact that I would trust a game recommendation from those people is bad. Now, agreed. On the flip side, Steam for the reviews, their reviews are kind of crazy. People just leave terrible reviews. There's not a good system for reviews.
Or they leave. They just do jokes for reviews. Like they're just
10 out of 10. Games sucked. And they'd leave a 5-star review saying the game is terrible just to be a troll. So I don't buy video games based on reviews I read from people. I buy them from people I know, reviews I hear from people, podcasts, somebody I trust, it's something like that. So I really could care less about that, but it is interesting that they're going to be using the Open Critic score to put that on there as gaming reviews. So,
at least, and they may decide to change that later as far as adding also more purchasers reviews but that's at least on their kind of like, hey, here's what generally is said on across various sites in a concise, and it's a little box that it's easy. You can jump through and see a number of different places reviews and see what 5 out of 5, 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yes, sir. All right. So that is Epic.
And they did do for the people that are into game development on the first Tuesday of every month in the Epic's marketplace, which is the Unreal marketplace part of it. They do free assets. So if you haven't gone, make sure you go. And today they released 5 new assets on there, and they do that every month. So if you're interested in game development, make sure you go every month. And they've done some really good assets. This month, for instance, they have Ballistics FX, an excellent package, normally $100. I mean, I purchased it on sale, I think for like $50. It's free. So
Damn.
things like that, really good. And it's free forever. So you go get it, and it's just like as if you had purchased it.
PH makes a good point. He says, I think reviews are pretty dead anyway. Most people now watch YouTube videos or Twitch streams. So I think that's probably pretty accurate. I mean, I know personally for us, we have sold a whole bunch of copies of a whole bunch of different games based on our recommendations. And I cannot tell you the last time I bought I've never purchased a game based on an online review I've read.
Yeah.
Solely. I've never been like, oh, that game's got good reviews on Steam, let me buy it. Never. It's never happened.
Yeah.
And I don't know anybody that does. I mean, you own like 100,000 games. You ever purchased any of them based on just reading through reviews on Steam?
No.
I just can't.
Not Steam's reviews. No way. I know better than that.
It's the same thing with Amazon. Do you buy a product specifically based on the Amazon reviews? No.
Yeah, actually I do. I'll go through and read the reviews on Amazon because I look at what problems people had with them. I look at the pictures of when they received it, because people take pictures of what they received. And so that is something.
I'm not saying that the reviews aren't helpful,
but sometimes I will pick between, and the review is what tells me which. I don't go shopping and say, oh, this one's got I'm looking for something specific.
Exactly.
And then I use a review to tell me which one variation of it I'm going to get.
And I think with gaming, it's kind of the opposite, right? I don't think anybody's like, oh, I think I'm going to buy Ark. Let me go and see.
It's all based off of friends and hype and everything else, not the reviews.
Exactly. So
I did have something funny happen this past week.
Okay.
I actually had somebody that, thank you. So I had a developer who makes assets contact me, and he said that somebody is sending out, he received an email that said it had my picture, talked about my YouTube channel, and it said, I would like to have a copy of your asset to be able to read in some Russian email address. So they're spamming and pretending to be me. And he says, hey, if you want a copy of my asset, you can have it. And I said, well, that wasn't me. I said, you can give it to me if you'd like, but I thought it was.
Did he send you a copy of the email?
Yeah, he said actually he did.
Wow.
Let me see if I can get a link here. But it had my picture.
It
had everything.
That is, I don't want to do the show with you anymore. I thought I was kind of a big deal. Nobody has ever stolen my identity to get free stuff. Wow. That really just took me down to a whole new low.
Are you all right with opening a Discord link or a Discord image?
Yeah, I mean, who cares? What are they going to do? What are you going to do? Hack me?
All right, I'll send it to you in Skype.
Perfect. Oh, yeah, another file sharing service.
So, and the thing is, yeah, so.
Whoa! Can you please provide me your project game menu system so I can shoot a video of integrating this game? I would be grateful if you agree. My channel. Damn.
Yeah. So I was like, no, and then look at the email address. It's ghack20
at gmail.com.
And he didn't even get my name on there right. If the guy goes to my channel, it says my name.
It's not Boise Computer Service? Oh, wait, you spelled your name wrong. Oh, is there more? Oh, I have to scroll down. No, it doesn't say your name on this. Wow.
That's like my old link. So you can tell he's not, because it's /, that's my user. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that's not the name of my channel.
C. Brian Aldridge, yeah.
Yeah, because I think he changed it so that because otherwise it would use my name, and I don't know why he just didn't put my name in his address. But
Brian is part of the Russian bot army. Ladies and gentlemen,
yeah,
we have to cut ties, Brian. It's been a good run. Damn,
yeah.
Dude, that takes me down to a whole. You don't realize how I might as well just go jump off a bridge.
Sorry,
that is the whole new low.
That wasn't the point of it.
Somebody is pretending to be you to get free stuff.
Yeah. Well, I told me because he actually came on there and he contacted me and he said, hey, do you want to, if you want a copy, and it's a well-known developer, so I need to start asking for things. That's what I need to start doing.
Wow.
Just email everybody. But then I'll be the real one actually asking. But I don't have time for all that.
Well, that's exciting. Good for you, Brian.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah,
We're
real
speaking about hacking and
real
things
interesting.
like
Yeah.
that. All right. Let's move on. So,
Who cares?
Fallout 76, your favorite game.
It's all meaningless. None of it matters anymore.
You're important, Nick.
Yeah. Okay.
You have value.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Speaking of exciting things, Fallout 76. Let's talk. By the way, I got
to Firebomb. You're not helping this conversation.
Let me tell you this. I did get a nice comment this week. I got a nice comment based on the cover art for last week's episode, which is, I'm not going to sit here and be a baby, but I will. This is not, I put a decent amount of time into this, and there's small little icons on YouTube, right? And nobody really sees them, but I did get a comment, a Discord message from one of our listeners that said he really appreciated this as our cover art, which is the Fallout 76 guy with his thumbs down and a literal heaping pile of garbage on fire with the Fallout 76 logo. I really appreciated that. I thought it was pretty good too, but people only see it like it's, what a YouTube thumbnail is. Most people don't look at the thumbnails. So yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I thought
that is good.
Yeah, it was
well, and that fits perfectly with the news that came out.
By the way, that search, you would not believe how long it took me to find a decent resolution picture of a literal dumpster on fire. Incredibly complicated. So many like weird aspect ratio pictures. I do it for you folks.
Well, I'm sure you could repeat that this week because
just the same cover art
is now giving refunds to consumers
for
Fallout 76. I think that is at their distribution. So this is the company ZeniMax. It's in Europe. So there's ZeniMax Media Inc., ZeniMax Europe Limited, and then Australia. I think that their distributors
it's the holding company for
them.
For it.
Is it for them?
Bethesda, yeah.
So there was they said that they misled consumers in their guarantee rights. And so now they have to allow for refunds of Fallout 76.
Is this just in Australia though?
So it says that between November 24th and June 1st, so they'll offer refunds for consumers who contacted them. So if you contacted them between that time, then you will be able to get a refund.
Huh.
But the thing is if you accept the refund, you'll no longer be entitled to access and play the game.
Oh, okay.
So I guess that's fine. But this was an Australian consumer law.
Gotcha.
That did this.
So this is an Australian only thing. The ACCC has accepted a court enforceable undertaking. Gotcha.
Yep. So,
damn.
So I guess I'd be interested to know more about like what exactly it was that they feel like they misled for. I mean, they said they misrepresented because they said the retailers must ensure their refunds and return policies do not misrepresent what the Australian consumer law provides. So they said when a consumer buys a product, it comes with an automatic consumer guarantee, and that's under that law.
Gotcha.
So some people are going to be getting refunds for Fallout 76, and as you're showing on the screen, a literal dumpster fire.
Damn it! I wish I didn't do this last week. I could save it again. Yeah, there you go.
You could put version 2.
Tell you what, man, not good. Very sad that this is from Bethesda. Very, very sad for as big of a company as they are.
I love Fallout series so much. I have not been tempted whatsoever to purchase this Fallout 76. I'm just not even tempted whatsoever, which is sad because I love the story.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that are in that same boat. I do want to say hello to our friend Gilbert Davis over on YouTube. He saying humble brag in reference to our previous conversation. Hello, hope you're doing well. Appreciate you joining us here live. We're a little late on our live show, but we'll be normal 2-hour show. Speaking of a normal 2-hour show, Brian, we didn't do a game giveaway yet. We probably need to Probably need to go ahead and
I will
get that up.
Yeah, let me get that start pulling up.
All right. Let's talk about this. Is something we wanted to talk about last week, and just with the crazy amount of news, we just didn't have a chance to get to it. Was Astroneer. Now, I'd heard about Astroneer in the past, and seen a whole bunch of people play it and talk about it, but not until we were actually at PAX this year did I actually get hands-on with it and talk with the developers. And they put an update out. It was on October 24th. It was called the Groundwork Update, which was a literal and a physical and a literal thing and a whatever for groundwork. They literally worked on the ground, but they're also I think it's a good thing. They're saying they're laying the groundwork for the rest of the game. So the following updates have been made to the game. The medium canister is printed on small canister. The resource cost is 1 plastic, 1 glass, and the byte cost is 2,500 bytes. Vehicle in-air stabilization and manual controls. The rover automatically self-corrects their rotation when airborne and are much less prone to flipping over now. You can now manually adjust the pitch and the yaw and roll of rovers while airborne using the WASD and the left joystick if you're on a controller. And controls over the yaw and roll can be toggled in the option menu. So if you want to be able to do that stuff, you can turn it on and off. Drill controls. They've been completely overhauled to be consistent with the current terrain tool cursor. Remains visible when obscured. More clearly displays the vertical tilt of the camera. Displays the slope of the rover relative to the ground plane. Displays the amount of available soil. And multiple improvements to feel and responsiveness. For the small trumpet horn, the resource cost for that is 1 plastic. The byte cost is 1,000. For the medium buggy horn, the resource cost is 1 plastic, 1 rubber. The byte cost is 2,000 bytes. And the large fog horn, the resource cost for that is 1 plastic, 1 rubber, 1 steel, with a byte cost of 4,000. And you need a medium printer for that, small printer for the medium, and a back. You can just crap the small trumpet horn in a backpack. So that is the groundwork update. Some things that they're working on, and this is available on PC and on the consoles and Windows 10 as well. So check that out. Cool stuff from the folks over at Astroneer. They're doing a lot to kind of do some TLC of the game.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that game has a lot to it. I mean, it's one of those kind of like Ark where you can just go and do stuff and have fun and just hours and hours of gameplay, and you can make things, you can explore. So check it out. And we did some hands-on while we were at PAX, and it was a lot of fun. So, and I'm sure it'll be on sale if it's not on sale right now. So check it out on your stores and look for it. Wishlist it if you need to.
Yes, not on Epic, but on Steam you can at least wishlist it. Yeah, I want to say hello to our friend Evilness FPS. He is greeting us from Germany. What time is it in Germany right now, Brian? Let's see.
It's like 7 or 8 hours ahead of me. So
Germany.
Probably 5 hours ahead of you.
It is 2:51 in the AM in Germany. Oof. And he is joining us here live. We appreciate your. Now I'll tell you what. If you're in North America right now and you're bitching and complaining about the time of the show,
there's the time change too.
There's a time change too. No excuse. Evilness FPS is joining us 3 a.m. PHVCK is joining us. It's probably close to 3 a.m. there too. Hey, we appreciate it. Appreciate the support.
I thought PH was in China.
Okay, so it's the next day. He's or Russia. He's a troll. What do we have here for our game giveaway, Brian?
All right, so I'm going to give away a copy of The Adventure Pals, and this is currently $15 on Steam. This is a adventure action indie RPG platformer. So there's a link to it if you'd like to enter for it. It's got very positive ratings. Came out here last year. So if you're interested in that, exclamation point giveaway, and we'll give that away before the end of the show.
Absolutely. We are here live every Tuesday, right around 7 o'clock Eastern. Our start time might fluctuate here and there every couple of weeks, depending on schedules and whatnot. But nevertheless, we're here live every Tuesday. A new program we're streaming live on Twitch, YouTube, and everybody's favorite, they're not paying us, Mixer. We're here live for about 2 hours. This show can also be downloaded on our website via audio and watched on YouTube for the full video version of the show. So hopefully you'll We gotta tell people to tell your friends. That's kind of the thing here. Infect your friends. That was our great catch line we were going to use back in the day. Infect your friends. That's
yes.
always something that we thought.
I'm sure there's a lot of things. There's a lot of different ways people could go with that.
Yeah, lots of different ways that we can go with that. So, so yeah, hopefully you'll join us. And if you know other people that are interested in these topics, send them a link. Let them know.
So, how about now Call of Duty? There's some news for that.
Yeah, what's going on?
We have been playing a little bit. There was a leak about some maps.
Oh yeah.
Because of the PC version, people are able to dig a little bit more into the files than they normally would on a console. And they'd gone in there and pretty much found 38 more maps, according to the files, that they're going to be adding to this latest Call of Duty. So 5 different ones on gunfight mode, and then a pretty long list for 6 versus 6 and 10 versus 10. One more ground war, and then an other, which is a gun course and a marksman range. So those will be things that they'll be adding. At least those are ones that are in the files, and we'll see if they actually all make it. But those are ones that you would expect to see. And if you want to see that list, we will have in the show notes. You can go. I mean, their names like Port, Oasis. Some of them are, I think, previous
Brian,
remakes. Maybe
you don't even know. Rust is on this list. Shipment is on this list. I mean, these are some of the cornerstone maps of Call of Duty. I mean, Rust, bro, have you ever challenged somebody to a 1v1 intervention sniper final kill 360 no scope on Rust and MW2?
Definitely not.
Bro, you can't even hang until you challenge somebody to a 1v1 on Rust. You can't even hang until you've challenged somebody to that. It's
now you'll be able to do it, relive that all over again.
Like, you think the fight at PAX, like, oh, fight me at PAX? No. 1v1 me on Rust. 360 no scope snipers. That was my middle school right there. If you would be like, what did you do in middle school? That. Yeah. 360 no scope.
Firebomb says, you're speaking a language Brian just doesn't know.
Oh, it's got to get good.
I have no. It's a fun game, but I just have no.
Gotta get good. You gotta.
When you were in junior high, let's see, where was I at? And you when you were in junior high, I have no.
We're doing the podcast.
Oh yeah, we're doing the podcast. Not too far off, actually. I was gonna say, where was I? Oh, I was on Hangouts,
Google Hangouts, talking to
Google Plus,
talking to little boys. So yeah, cool stuff. I hope what they do is a map rotation system. Instead, Call of Duty's typically had like
instead of like the filter system.
Well,
they're doing
not even that, but like, so Call of Duty's always had like 5 or 8 base maps, and those are always on there. But this idea of maps coming and going off of that rotation, so like every couple weeks the maps cycle through, hopefully keep it maybe a little bit more fresh, and keep people coming back to the game, so it's not always the same thing. That would be pretty cool.
Well, I think having a lot of variation, because I've seen people that are just like, oh, this map again, and I've had it where one map you'll have the same map one right after another because they just don't have enough variation right now.
Yeah,
they can only mix them up so much. So I think getting a lot in there makes the game feel more fresh and less repetitive. So one thing there's been some controversy about that. It was the Highway of Death that's been in there that you had mentioned last week. Remember that?
This is this is the thing that the U.S. did, but then they put Russia
inside of this, and they're saying that according to the narrative director, he's saying it has nothing to do with that. It just happens to have the same name, be a similar massacre, but it has nothing to do with the actual event that happened. This is something totally fresh and new. Nothing related to the Highway of Death
that actually
happened that is almost identical to what happened in the game.
This is why we do not trust video game developers when they say things. This is why we don't trust the guy from Blizzard.
It has nothing to do with
this. This is why we don't trust the guy from
whatsoever.
This is why we don't trust the guy from Blizzard. This is why we don't trust this guy who actually also works for Blizzard. They just don't trust them. There's just no reason.
But they said if you Google Highway of Death, you will find many research results that don't have to do with
Highway of Death. Highway of Death, Kuwait, 1991.
Okay, but if you go to page 10 of your Google search results,
first of all, I'm using
many
Bing.
results.
I'm using Bing.
Oh, Bing.
I mean, it's pretty clear the highway of death is pretty. It doesn't seem to be mixed. There's a bunch of articles about modern warfare addressing the highway of death, but it's pretty clear what this is.
Well, according to the creative director,
What a jackass!
it has nothing to do with the highway of death that happened in real life.
Okie doke.
So I just thought I would mention that. He very clearly said it has nothing to do with it. Just the same name, same instance, same situation.
Always believe your game developers. They've never misled you in the past.
Yeah.
PSA,
they're always honest.
A PSA from Nick in the Infection podcast. Yeah, so good stuff from Call of Duty. I hope that they figure that map cycle thing out. I'm really looking forward to that.
So okay, No Man's Sky, since we talked about
depressing things, yeah.
One of your favorite games, Fallout 76. We'll now talk about the one that I purchased. I think you had gotten Fallout 76 and I had gotten No Man's Sky or something like that.
Actually, no. I own No Man's Sky. You don't.
I own No Man's Sky.
Yeah, but I bought it originally.
Oh yeah, I got it afterwards.
Yeah.
When it was good.
Yeah. Okay.
So they put out their. So they did the Beyond update, and now they've done update 3 for that. And so this would be patch 2.15, which releases on all platforms. They have weekend missions that they've added. And then also featured bases. So you can go on there and go check out some people's pretty cool bases that teleport you over there. They have a community spotlight. You can go on there and see, I guess, screenshots and graphics and things that people have made. And of course, the development update. They've been adding features, for instance, the teleporter you can do to get to the feature bases. Just a lot of things they added for this. Lots of fixes in there. The graphics are beautiful. I don't know, Nick. Someday you're going to have to try this again.
I have tried it again. I did. I recently.
You still didn't like it?
It's not that I didn't like it. I didn't want to play it.
The hype is gone.
It's not that I had no reason. I didn't want to play it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. Hold on. I mean, I can tell you right now. When the last time I played it was. It wasn't. It was after they'd done their series of updates. Was the last time I played it. I'm retarded and can't find it.
It's like a couple months ago, 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago.
I played it August of 2018, which was after they had done their big updates.
Their Beyond update,
yes.
What was it? It wasn't Beyond. It was.
I don't remember what it was called.
I don't remember whatever it was called. Yeah. I mean, they've made it. They've pretty much are now at the game that they promised, I think, originally.
Yeah. But I don't.
Right.
I would not have bought the game today. I bought the game back in 2016. That's what I wanted. Yeah. Right. That's.
I think you played it in Next. I think was it the Next patch that
Probably.
You did? Maybe. I think that was the big one that kind of started fixing everything. Now they have done Beyond, which is their latest set. And it very much the game that I remember them promising. I think it's become that game. But of course, it took them a couple years to get to that point.
Yeah.
And all that hype that they had built up around this, which how many times have we seen all this hype fail and not result in the game that was promised? I think that a lot of times these development studios, now he didn't help at all. He fanned the flames of this when he went up there and said, you could do this. Whenever you hear developers say you could, that doesn't mean that they will, or, given enough resources, yes, you could, but obviously they didn't have enough resources to pull it off the first time. Now they've gone and actually done these things. So yes, you could, but maybe he should have been honest and said, but it'll take us a couple of years to get there. Because people were expecting that day one when they released, and they weren't able to pull it off in that time frame.
I was interested in a different game in 2016 that I'm interested in practically 2020. Yeah. I'm in a totally
There's too many games out too.
I'm in a totally different spot. What I'm playing, what I'm interested in.
What you have time to play for.
Yeah, I mean,
I think a lot more right now, like with you and I, because of our limited amount of time, shorter, faster games that aren't big open world, open-ended, spend 4 or 5 hours every day doing something. I think that is more where we're at right now.
Yeah,
there are people that are into that, but I think a lot of people, everybody has pretty much jobs. If you want a job at this moment, you could probably go have a job.
So
very different case 5 years ago.
there are two different things. There are my first impression sucked, I don't want to play it anymore. Then there are, which is valid, and a lot of people have, but then there's the other thing, and that's where I am, which is game looks fine, game looks enjoyable, game looks fun, I just am not interested in it. And that is personally where I am. I've only got 11 hours played in this game. That's not even scratching the surface of it.
Yeah.
And by the way, that 11 hours is probably split between original,
the bad, yeah.
Actually, it's probably more 60. It may be 70, 30, 60, 40 on the term and on the side of original. So I may only have a couple of hours, 3-4 hours in the new game. I'm just not interested anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean,
I'm not interested in the space game like No Man's Sky. I don't care. Same thing if you were to throw H1Z1 in front of me today.
Elite Dangerous scratch that itch too. I mean, Elite Dangerous is a less cartoony version of.
But the point is I'm not really into those games anyway. But at the time when this game was coming out, there was a lot of hype. The vastness of the world. Yeah, I was. The vastness of the world and the multiplayer and all that other stuff seemed really, really cool. I'm not somebody that's into space games. I'm not interested in investing a whole bunch of time to figure out the mechanics. I'm just not. And I've been very clear. I've been very consistent about that. So I'm sure it's a fine game. I'm sure people are interested in playing it. I could just care less.
Yeah. And that's the same thing with me. I played it for a while, but I just don't have the time to sit there, and it's a huge world. It takes forever to do everything.
Yep.
I just don't have that time right now. So I need something faster paced. That's where games like Call of Duty are nice, because I can go and play for half an hour and walk away from it. And I was able to complete, and it's closed and done. I don't feel like I'm leaving anything halfway done.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I don't have to remember where I was at. That's one big problem with Elite Dangerous. I get back in and I feel so lost. It's like, well, what was I doing?
That's how I feel about jumping back to Red Dead now. That's why I'll never finish it. That's exactly how I feel.
And that's the problem, is I had to play it all at once, and so from in my head the story continued, and I was able to keep it all together and have a continuous story. For you probably you'll forget what was happening, parts of the story. It doesn't all add together. So I think that's the danger of a really long game, is you just kind of lose the connections.
Yeah.
So all right. Well, we mentioned a little bit earlier, but the Darwin Project.
Oh yeah.
They put out a patch.
What are they up to?
And they put out 1.21 this past week. And one thing they did is they redid the whole the menu system. So the main menu looks different. They simplified it. You were talking about simplifying things. They made it to where there's a lot less going on. Pretty much play, custom, and training for the main screen. You can go in there and you choose between solo, duo, or director. They also have a dressing room, which just has, you can kind of pick out the outfits and skins and things that you have. They have been doing some updates to the back end, mainly getting stability. They're removing the career profile stats and leaderboards that they had in there, because they're just kind of getting rid of all that extra stuff. They're doing a spectator experience on Twitch, just kind of trying to get it to where they're redoing how people see the spectators. You can click an inmate. For instance, on Twitch, you can have it to where people can vote and try to heal a person in game from the Twitch interface. Cool stuff like that. So they've been going through and just making that look really nice. So I haven't really seen a ton of people playing it, but I think it's a good game. I think a couple different streamers just have to get on it, and it's a very interactive with the audience type of game.
Yeah, it is.
It's just hard. It's hard to convince them when this isn't what's going to make them money. The streamers go where the money is.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Yeah, and a lot of these, they're getting paid to stream certain games, and I doubt these guys are paying them to do anything. So,
yeah.
But that's the Darwin Project.
Cool.
ROE, so Ring of Elysium. They put out an update as well, and this is the 10.31. So this came out on Halloween. They did so. I don't know why, but they added this on Halloween. Not a couple days before, which a lot of times companies will do that. They'll add it so you have a couple days before Halloween to actually experience this. But they added a haunted house below Ocean Park. The airdrop was a big pumpkin head with some effects, and then the grenades have been changed into little pumpkins. They have a daily check-in that goes until the 8th. So you still have a couple days to do that. You can really receive some of those Halloween skins. The store, they have a Halloween candy box that you can get that has a chance of getting, like an exclusive AK skin and various items. They have a Halloween party that goes through the 7th. And then it has a daily task in the event center where you can get some random rewards for that. They added a new character, and that's Secura Blood Fox, and then a list of bug fixes. So you still have some time. If you haven't done the Halloween event, I guess the benefit of starting it on Halloween, they let it go for a week or so. So you actually have some chance to go in and still do that if you get on it staying tomorrow.
Yeah, very cool.
So one other one they did, so that was the 31st. They did put out a patch on the 1st here. And mainly this is just a fix for an issue that probably the previous patch did. They were getting some client-side errors. So if you saw another little download, that's what it was, just one fix.
All right.
Dead by Daylight, which we're playing for Game of the Week.
Now, you say we're.
You are. Maybe you're not either, are you?
I am. Where are you going to be?
Okay. I am going to be throwing axes for a work event.
I mean, this guy.
Social.
So let me understand this. So, me and the audience have been your rock 5 years, and you're going to use this first opportunity for Game of the Week to just ignore us. Is that what I'm understanding? Am I understanding you correctly?
It's the work outing event. I got to get to know my coworkers, I guess.
Okay, Brian.
It's my first workout event. I'm working event, so I figured I better show up.
All right, Brian. Whatever you say.
I gotta rub elbows with my bosses and things like that.
That could get you in trouble. Check out your sexual harassment policy.
Okay, I'll try not to touch them.
Yeah, for sure.
So they put out the 3.3.1. They call it mid-chapter patch. They first of all updated Unreal Engine to 4.22 from 4.21, which you don't see a lot of developers or studios put that in their notes.
Never.
And they don't really say the specific things they're getting as a benefit, but they did do that. They added the archives, which we had talked about in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, we showed that trail. That's kind of their library system and their story lore system.
Yes. They added tomes, which provide challenges to players to complete 4 blood points, rifts, fragments, and the lore entries, which are stored there's a collection submenu. The rift is a new limited time reward system they've added. New UI elements now available at the right of the lobby menu and tally screen to provide feedback regarding the archives. New currency, that's that rift fragments they've added. So used to progress through tiers. And it says through tiers in an available rift in the archives. And then new cosmetic types, the charms. So you can get 3, attach them to your waist or killer's hook. To killer can attach it to their hook in the environment. And then they have added some things to the customization UI to be able to see those. They've done some balance UI improvements. Mostly after that, it is fixes, tweaks to specific characters, bug fixes, fixes for a number of the maps. This is actually a really big update. That's why I figured it'd be a good idea to play this one, because they have, I know people have complained about, how some of the dedicated servers have been performing. They have a lot of fixes for that. Just a lot of changes and balances. And it's just pages worth. So that should be a good experience. I'm sure they fixed a lot of issues that people have been dealing with the last couple months.
I'm very much looking forward to
it. Another thing that happened is Xera. They had their Halloween event, and this was, I think it came out on Halloween. It goes through the 7th, so you still have 2 days to do that, going for a week. They have some cosmetics items that you can get that are Halloween themed. They have Halloween candy, which will heal 5%, restores 10% food, and on
That's
1.5 second cooldown. They had a pumpkin hat, which is like a 20% head protection helmet, and the witch's hat, same thing, same amount of protection. They did disable the medical cooldown active pop-up. One thing with the civilian bunkers, they've added a 10% chance of spawning either exploding or stalker humanoid in there. So 60-40 chance currently. they've added the /roll command in chat. If you want to be able to maybe decide over loot, you can roll to between 1 and 100.
That's weird.
That's more of a MMO type of thing.
It is, yeah. And this isn't really.
But if you're
MMO.
dealing with loot, and you're not, in MMOs use this all the time.
Yeah,
so
but
it really depends on.
This whole world is PvP. Are you really going to be like, oh, who gets this shotgun? It'd be like, no, I was here first. Piss off.
Maybe should have added a rock, paper, scissors.
No.
No.
You should have been quicker.
All right, just go ahead and take it.
Yeah, I mean, no, but okay, but stop. Seriously. We've played all these games.
Mm-hmm.
You distribute your loot. I mean, if you find if you have 40 shotguns on you and your teammates don't, you give them to your teammates. That's what I find kind of weird.
Do you think they're going more for there's the possibility of having more rare items that seem to have a value to where it might create some contention if you don't have a way to honestly roll for them?
Just don't tell them you have them.
But when you start shooting with that gun, they may notice.
I don't know. I just think that's kind of a weird system for a game like this.
I think that it comes down to, though, if they feel like they're going to have something that's rare, that people would say, hey, let's say they're doing those special events where you clear the compound. There's a loot that kind of distributes and falls all over the floor, and you say, hey, who's going to get that? Roll is a very good way to do that. Roll, whoever gets the highest number, they get it, and then there's no argument about it. I just found that in a situation like that, I think because the loot is sitting on the ground, you've all been in that little area doing it, and all of a sudden then it shows up. I think that might be a good way to deal with it. I mean, they could call it something else, have it not be a 1 to 100 chance.
I don't know.
Flip a coin, anything.
I'm just thinking, in any situation, in any of these games, you always, if you find duplicate guns, you always give them to your teammate.
But there are some guns in there that when we played, we never saw.
But my point is, if I find a really rare gun, I'm not giving it to anybody else. I'm not rolling it. That's what I'm saying. This doesn't fit this style of game. Really, Brian, you're telling me you're going to, Mr. Looter, Super Looter Brian, you're going to go around and find a really rare gun and go, okay, Nick, roll and see if you get to keep it or if I get to keep it? Really? You see yourself playing like that?
Not in this game.
No, that's what I say.
I understand where you're coming from.
It's just, in this game, doesn't make sense.
I haven't seen that in this game.
No, yeah, that's what's kind of weird.
But kind of maybe it depends kind of where they're going. If there's more of a permanent looting system or maybe a permanent skin system, then it would more matter.
Yeah.
If you're finding a skin in the world that you're treating it more like you raided that compound together, and then that's a rare item that actually attaches to your account, then as a group, as a guild, as a clan, you may want to roll for it out of your group.
Okay. Yeah. I can see it.
I can see where they might be going with it. But right now in the standard, how we've played games up to this point in this genre, we haven't seen it.
Agreed. Well, cool stuff from Xera, yeah.
Yep. Then they have a /respawn command with no delay. It takes you right to the safe zone, which I'm assuming you can't be in combat doing that.
You probably can. You probably just die. Respawn means you die. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, so you drop all your items.
All your stuff will drop, and then you go straight to the safe zone.
That would be the thought.
And then they added things to the map, like for the Halloween event, and just a couple of fixes to that. So that is Xera.
All right. Let's take a look at. I mean, speaking of games that have a great future ahead of them, that's what we've been talking about this evening. Planetside Arena, Brian. We've got an update for this. This is early access.
Been waiting for all month for this.
Update number 5. I know you had a really crappy Halloween because update 5 wasn't out. Here are some of the updates that they've added to this. They added squad quick chat. V is the default key for that, and it brings up a menu to issue a voice command to your squad. So that's an in-game voice command, like go that way, or kind of a predefined system, not talking, like a command system in the game. And they've also added a squad text chat feature. You press Enter to bring up a window and chat with your squad. So fantastic. We can now communicate with our squad members. Improve the animations and origin for throwing grenades. Added a new animation for class abilities, utilities, and tools. added a new visual model for the Medic Shield recharge deployable. That's the ability of the Medic class. Increased the speed for the Decimator rockets to make it a little bit easier to hit long-range targets. So instead of it was so slow that you would aim at somebody and they'd be off the screen by the time it hit. So they've just sped that process up a little bit. Improved ballistic server validation. Now, ballistics are the hits, correct? The mechanics of the hit, which is exactly what my complaint was when I played this game. I did not feel like my hits were registering. Turns out, maybe they weren't. We should reduce instances of rejected shots or perceived hit registration issues. So, I'm not just bad after all. Well, I am still bad. It's not the only issue. I mean, I was standing right in front of somebody and shot directly at them and did not get a hit marker. And this is no exaggeration. Oh, I didn't get a hit marker. No, nothing. You don't die quickly in this game. You put a lot of bullets into somebody, and I did not get a hit marker. So clearly, there are server validation issues for the ballistics that they're dealing with, which is, in my opinion, the most. If that's not solved, the game is unplayable. I mean, you're talking about your hits not registering. Update 5.
I'm wondering how
is when they.
I'm wondering how much of this is. I'm wondering about how much of this is from some of the code possibly they brought over from H1Z1 versus Planetside. I mean, I don't remember these issues in Planetside.
Yeah,
I think because they're merging, I think they tried to merge some of H1Z1, some of Planetside together, and now they're having weird issues. So it's not like they just took the Planetside weapon system and brought it in. There is kind of an H1Z1 feel to the movement and some of the interactions on this game. So I think that's where they've run into issues. So
that is unplayable. You're talking about, hello, hits not registering.
And we noticed it right away.
Instantly. We played it 4 days after the game came out.
Yep.
Unacceptable. No wonder there's freaking 200 people playing the game.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is I don't think they're expecting this to really take off. They're going to be doing the new Planetside, right? They're going to be doing another Planetside 3.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, we want to be talking about that last week. A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, in the last couple weeks.
Yeah. Jesus.
I don't know what Daybreak is. I mean, they're starting if you remember, they're starting up all those little child companies, which is going to cushion their successful products from their unsuccessful products and reduce the risk of a bad release like Planetside Arena taking their whole development company into bankruptcy. But the problem is you will start seeing that now successful titles can't carry unsuccessful titles. So Planetside Arena would just go bankrupt and go away, which maybe is what they want in the end.
I don't understand how there is an issue with, I'm going to say it, with ballistics and hit registration. How is this not done? How is this not solved?
How many developers do you think are still there?
This game didn't just come out. This game's been out for a month now. And this is the first time we've seen it.
Developers?
I don't know how many.
There's more than 3 developers?
I don't care. They've done updates. This isn't their first update. This game's been out for a month. They've done 5 updates. This is the first time we've heard anything about this, and I noticed it the second I started playing the game. How is that acceptable? This is uncomprehendable.
I'm just trying to think of their other updates though were very small.
That's my point.
First of all,
this isn't.
They were update number 4. They tweaked some of the how many credits and nanites you get from various bonus events.
Yeah, that's great.
Number of people.
Fantastic.
Nothing.
But you can't kill it.
The number of game fixes were 6 or 7. They had 6 or 7 actual fixes in the whole thing. Before that, same thing. They're doing 6 or 7 bug fixes per update when the game is very buggy.
It's unplayable if you don't have hit registration that works. It is the most important.
Update number 10, I think, had 15 updates in it, but not really big ones. I don't think they have very many I don't think they have very many people still on staff anymore. I think it's pretty much cleared out. So you wonder why it's taking them so long. I bet you they only have a couple people still there.
I can't fathom it.
And you know how their work environment is.
Yeah.
They've not been known to be incredibly hard workers. So
I don't have anything to say. I don't have anything to say. This is a fully released game that they delayed 3 times.
Yep.
And there is a known issue that I talked about day one, that the hits are not registering, and they have finally said that they're working on improvements. Unacceptable.
Yeah. I'm surprised they're still doing anything with it.
What a sham.
The game is still running. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't just say, hey, we're going to pull this down. They're claiming it's still alpha.
Let me see how many people are playing right now. Let's go over this. Planetside Arena. Let's take a look right now. If we scroll over to SteamDB, by the way, 45% of the reviews are positive, so 55 are negative. There are currently 22 people playing the game right now. Not even enough to fill a single game. I don't believe it starts until 30 players, so there's not even enough to play a game. 35 people is the 24-hour peak. And over
why did they even bother to put out an update?
And over the last week, the maximum players was 70. 70 concurrent players on Saturday. 70.
Yeah, I don't even know
why. But it's not surprising, Brian,
bother.
because we tried to play and we couldn't shoot anything.
Yeah. It's just not a pleasurable experience. It was a weird vision. It's like they just brought together a couple different pieces of various games that they have and said, all right, here's the new game. Rather than drawing up a concept of here would be a fun thing to do, they just took part of Planetside and part of H1Z1 or Z1 Battle Royale, whatever, and mixed them together.
Jesus.
I'm surprised that they're still even bothering to do updates. Unless they have one developer. I mean, they could have one developer and this is just what he happened to get done in the last couple of weeks. That is very possible as well.
Damn.
Because why would you pay 3 people to work on a game that a peak of 75 people?
Yeah.
On a free-to-play game. Free-to-play. 75 people.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's no point. So, all right. Unturned, they put out an update. 3.19.17.0. I always talk about doors in games. Seems to always be a big issue we run into. But they fixed some issues with animated colliders on doors. Hatches and shutters now have been disabled while playing the animation until nobody's overlapping them. So doors were causing an issue.
I will say.
This was causing a physics exploit to happen. So
I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I will point you back to the episode artwork for episode 249 of Infection Podcast, where we did have a long conversation about
doors.
I don't mean to brag, but
Yeah. You're like a predictor of the future. You knew doors would be a big thing in 2019.
What can I say?
So, they did also do some text contrast preferences. They go in there and make it so that you can have your text be more contrasted in the JSON file for preferences. They have about dash validate assets that you can do if you want to have it make sure that all your files are good. And then a bunch of fixes. I know that he is working on, he's got people making maps, but he's working on an Unturned that's in Unreal Engine. Been working on this for a while. So I guess maybe it'll be Unturned 2. So I think a lot of he's not putting a ton of time into this. He's doing fixes and helping people make sure that maps get put in and things, but he has been working on releasing an Unturned in Unreal Engine. So I think all at once you'll see a bunch of news about that once he has things ready to show.
Yeah.
But that is Unturned.
All right. Cool stuff from them. Looks like we're winding down our list here. What else you want to cover here?
Well, we got the Long Dark.
Okay.
They did their 1.62 hot fix, mainly a bunch of fixes. So they got fixes, gameplay fixes, some UI fixes that they did. And then they did their polish pass on episode 3. So that's the latest one. It was the free update they put out. So you should notice that is much. I mean, they released it pretty quickly, and then they went through and fixed a lot of the things that they ran into. They also added some icons, just a lot of fixes for episode 3, because it was all new content. People started playing it, noticed some things. So if you haven't done that, make sure you go check it out. It's $29.99. I think we mentioned it a couple weeks ago when it was on sale. It was an excellent price. I think it was 50% off at least at that point in time. Keep an eye on this. If you do not have the Long Dark, put it on your wish list, because I'm sure they'll be doing a winter sale or something here soon. But if you're into survival games, which I would assume you would be, you're watching a survival podcast, listening to a survival podcast, put it on your wish list. I mean, this game is one of the best survival games on Steam. So that's pretty much it. That's the Long Dark.
Right.
And then Blackwake.
The actual game with the door issue, right? Wasn't Blackwake the door issue game?
No, this is boats.
Oh.
But this is like
oh yeah, I actually
Sea of Thieves, but the prior one came out.
Oh yeah, I've played this a couple times. I like this game.
So you haven't heard a ton of news about it. I think Sea of Thieves and a lot of things came out. Atlas, which doesn't exactly seem like the biggest competition, but a lot of people got their fix on boats and kind of probably retired of boats after Atlas. But they made it so that the Tortuga map now properly loads. Fixed some issues with melee. It says melee blocking has had its time limit removed due to popular request, so you can block more quickly. Damaging bots now have hit markers, or should. Joining late should no longer display dead bots as frozen. So, because remember, bots they added a couple weeks ago. There were no bots in the game, and they added bots. So there's a lot of fixes for bots in this. And then fixing issues with the new map, because that new island map came out. So that is patch 3.88 of Blackwake. So I think, is there anything else we missed? I think that pretty much covers it.
No, sir. I believe that is all the news.
Very good.
All right. Well, on that note, let's go ahead and do current players, where we talk about, the games and the people that are currently playing them. Let's take a look at everybody's favorite game, Ark Survival Evolved, currently playing 23,479. The 24-hour peak, 40,663, with a 7-day peak of 62,947. Taking a look over at Rust, currently playing 26,824. The 24-hour peak, 43,352, with a 7-day peak of 63,082. Cool stuff there. And finally, 7 Days to Die. Currently playing 19,927. The 24-hour peak, 24,706. And your 7-day peak is 37,141. And that is Tip of the Week. Or excuse me, that's not Tip of the Week. That is current players, where we look at the players that are currently playing. I gotta tell you, Brian,
you got Tip of the Week on the mind.
I'm fading. I'm fading hard. I don't know what's going on here. It's late. It's almost 10 o'clock.
One of those days. No, I know. It's your bedtime.
I tell you what, man. I've been going to bed crazy. I have been exhausted. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I've had a crazy week too. I mean, I'm actually going and sitting in front of a computer for like 7 hours.
Do you play?
I have a standing desk though, so that's nice. Today I was sitting so long in a chair. I was like, I started pacing around the room, and I was like, oh, I got a standing desk. So I made it and get to the upright position and was able to actually move around while I was working.
Do you have Discord on your computer at work?
No.
Use the website?
I don't do any personal stuff while I'm there. I'm working the whole time when I'm there, writing code.
Yeah, okay.
I don't even check my phone for stuff.
I don't believe that. You're telling me you're on the computer all day and you just you don't have Discord open?
I don't have anything personal on my work computer.
Huh.
Nothing. I haven't checked his personal website. I haven't checked anything. News, nothing.
All right.
I I'm there. I'm working. That's what they pay me for.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna have. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Let's start the tip of the week. I can't be. I can't be bothered with you anymore. It's just incredible.
All right. Tip of the week where we go through and either give a general gaming tip or one about a specific game. It's The Long Dark is an excellent game. I figure I'd do it on this tip of the week.
Tip of the week. Here we go. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, I'm a professional. I don't do anything other than. Oh wait, hold on. That's bullshit. Hold on a second here. Okay, you are a liar. You're a liar.
No, that's not true.
You are a liar. Okay.
Is it because I texted you to tell you?
You texted me at 2:12 p.m. Eastern. That was noon 12 your time, and said, "I have a meeting."
Yeah, during my lunch.
Okay.
I went and texted you.
Counterpoint. You sent a Discord message at 10 o'clock Eastern this morning.
Before I left for work.
Oh my God. I hate you. I hate you.
8 a.m. I wasn't at work.
I hate you. You are the worst.
Just telling you. All right. So in the Long Dark, one thing that I haven't really talked about is the fatigue system in there. And this has a big effect on you. We talked about hunger, we talked about the thirst, and even the cold. But fatigue, that reduces the amount that you can carry while you're playing. Also, it affects your aim. So if you get very fatigued, you will get it to where it's very difficult to aim the weapons in the game, and it really puts you at risk in defending yourself. So the thing that you can use to affect that is your calorie intake. You'll notice that in this game, it's different than most games that you've seen where you have a calorie system. It has a point system on there. And your calories, as you're using energy, you move around, those will go down. Your main reason you're eating food is not based on the hunger, is you're trying to consume calories. And so once you get down below 1,400 on calories, you'll start to notice some of these adverse effects. So your goal is to keep it at about 1,400 or above. And then if you are not fatigued, or if you are fatigued, you need to make sure you get some sleep. Sleep is what will help you also with fatigue. And so get some sleep. But to do that, keep in mind you have to be hydrated. Things eating and drinking, those allow you to sleep for more time, because if you are really low on food and water, you won't be able to sleep because you'll be so hungry or thirsty. So it's important to kind of balance that out, keep them up, make sure you get, before you go try to sleep, consume some food, drink some water so that you can get the max amount of sleep time and then recover all that fatigue. So that is tip of the week.
Alrighty, Brian, thank you very much for that. Appreciate it as always. Let's go ahead and do our game giveaway here if we can.
All right. So congratulations, Jammer0000. Heyo. So I'll send you a key for this. I'll send you a key for this in Discord, or actually not Discord because I don't know who you are. I'll send it to you in Twitch as a message.
Look at that.
So congratulations.
Nothing. Tell you what, man, find another place where you can go and get 2 quality hours of semi-accurate news and opinions and win free things. I mean, point me to another location on the internet. I don't believe you.
We are something special.
That's for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
We are one of a kind.
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
So, yeah, just got to find it. We got to label ourselves correctly. So, is there anything else we need to cover? Remember Dead by Daylight for Game of the Week this Friday?
Yes, sir. I'll be there. Absolutely.
People have been playing Call of Duty. So if you're playing Call of Duty, make sure you jump into the Discord, and you can jump in and just hang out and chat. Maybe get some rounds with each other.
Yeah. Now I will say this for people that are playing Call of Duty, and I know this is specific. There's been a small group of us that have been playing around between the hours of like 9 and 11 p.m. Eastern a couple nights a week. So if you're around on one of those times, pop on Discord. If you see a group playing, come join us. That's typically the time that I try to get on. It just depends on the night. So yeah, active group on that. As always, if you're not in our Discord or you're not in our Steam group or you're not on our Twitter or whatever else, all those links are on our website, infectionpodcast.com. But we love having people engaged, and we've got a great group of people chatting with us live tonight and joining us across YouTube, Twitch, and Mixer. So we appreciate everybody that engages with us. We really do.
Very good. Yeah. Thank you. And we talked about, all the Twitch primes and all that. I know we say this over and over again, but people have no idea how much that helps. I mean, that pays for packs. And people are so religious about doing it. I do now have a little notification that, says when mainly that wasn't I know that people think it's to shame people, but a lot of times people don't realize unless they happen to notice that their name went away. So, it puts out a little notification on Discord saying that, your sub ran out, and people have been very good about renewing those every single month. I mean, we've got people 21, almost like 20 months or something.
21 months
in
for
a row.
Our friend Saul. Yeah.
21 months in a row of resubs. And so we really appreciate the people that use that, because there's a lot of different channels you could use it on. Appreciate that you choose to use it with us. So
absolutely.
And are we good to roll out on this?
Yes, sir. Thanks for everything,
right.
Brian, as always. I appreciate it.
Yep. All right. If you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter, of course, my blog, biteoftech.com, and that's an I, so BITE of tech.com. And make sure you go to our website, infectionpodcast.com, if you want to join that Discord that we were talking about. On the right-hand side, there's a button for that to join. It's a free app. So if you have a mobile device, maybe there's even a web-based, if you don't want to install anything, if you're paranoid. Also, you can go and install the desktop app. It's very lightweight and easy to use. We have on the left-hand side to support us if you're going to be doing any Humble Bundle, Amazon purchases, of course, our Twitch Primes. We have all the show notes for everything we talked about. So maybe we played a video or something that you wanted to see. We have all the show notes for those things. Links to our Mixer, our YouTube, links to Twitch, and then all the audio forms are on the website. So thank you very much, and I will see you guys later.
Absolutely, Brian. Thank you as always, and we'll see you Friday night for Dead by Daylight, and we will see you next Tuesday for another episode of Infection.
Very good.
Alrighty, folks. Well, thank you for joining us here for another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. You missed any portion of the show, links, videos, images, my very catchy thumbnails of the shows. All that can be found on our website, infectionpodcast.com. My name is Nick Craig. Follow me on Twitter at @NicholasCraig. Of course, all the links are our website, infectionpodcast.com. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.